Hey guys, welcome to the 2022 social media game plan. I am working right now on getting getting this on for our people that are um, joining us on from Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook did not allow me to stream this, so I'm going to have to share this directly to Facebook page. Um, Now, bear with me. I apologize. I know that it took me 20 minutes to get this thing going, but I finally got it going. I apologize. So that being said, thank you for joining us on YouTube. YouTube is now going to be my best friend moving forward. And this is a prime example of what we're going to be talking about today of not putting your eggs in one basket. With the whole changes of what's going on Facebook, this is a great example of why you need to be in this webinar, because unfortunately, the new day age is it's about adapting to the new world, right? And with everything that's going on with the Meta and Facebook, it's definitely time for us to continue to reevaluate what we're doing when it comes to social media marketing, which is what this webinar is all about. So bear with me as I get this on our social media pages. Share it. Okay, so that being said, now that it's on YouTube Live, we can actually those who are not able to join during this time, you can watch this at a later date. Thank you for joining us as well. So let's get started on what we're going to be talking about today as far as the social media game plan for 2022. And let me get Leslie on here as well, so that way she can join us. But before I do that, let me share this. All right. Okay. So a lot of problems that just happened just literally just now while I was on Facebook with this whole webinar thing. So this is once again a prime example of why we need to switch up our game plan for 2022. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. So Leslie's coming on here. So as Leslie jumps on here, she's going to be our moderator. Hey, Leslie.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Well, I was telling our viewers that this is a prime example of why we're doing this webinar. Facebook changed too much stuff, and apparently people just don't like us. So
Yes, they do.
well, Facebook doesn't. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what we need to do in 2022, what kind of changes are happening, because now with Meta, with all these crazy things that are happening in the social media world, there's going to be a lot of changes that are happening, and we need to adapt, right? And so prime example of what I just had to do today was adapt. So what are we going to be talking about today is what's happening in 2022, trends powered by consumers. So there was an entire report done for 2022 and the trends that are going to be happening. We're going to talk about a 10 by 10 strategy. So what you got to do to make sure you have a 10 by 10 strategy, and how to run Facebook and Instagram ads. So I think that's why Facebook said no, because we're going to teach people how to run ads today. So let's talk about TikTok. All right. So number one thing that we need to know about the 2022 trends is we were just on Facebook and everybody's hyped about Facebook, but as you just saw, we had some technical difficulties with Facebook, and Facebook has changed their algorithms, and Facebook has also done a lot of things that has pulled away some users. Okay, and where are those users, right? Where are those users? Well, let's talk about TikTok. In 2022, TikTok will take over social media, leaving other platforms to adapt. And it's true. I don't know if you are using TikTok right now, but it's the new thing. It's the new platform where everybody's at. Like, it doesn't matter what age group you're at. You look at the rise of TikTok and its dominance. I think it was like last year. In just a few days, it went from just like 500 million users to 3 billion users. 3 billion users. And no other platform other than Facebook has that amount of users. So TikTok is definitely about to consume the social media world. Luckily for us business owners, we get to run ads on there. They do have an advertising platform for us to reach those users that have shifted from Facebook over to TikTok. Now, if you're going to be planning on doing that and shifting over to TikTok, you have to create content, right? You have to create videography. You have to create content so that way it sticks and engages. So if you haven't done videos on your phone and you're not comfortable doing videos on your phone, which a lot of people aren't, and a lot of people just kind of steered away from it. Well, if you're not doing it, you're losing a lot of business. And this is going to be one of those things that is going to, once again, take over the social media world. Number two is social ads will develop as cookies get crunched. So a lot of things are changing on social media and on the internet. Everybody knows that the privacy, we were all concerned about privacy on the internet. Well, now that that websites have to ask for permission to track, like the Facebook pixel, the Pinterest pixel, and then the Google pixel, the Google tag. Well, what are all those things? Well, in marketing, when we used to do marketing, retargeting ads, it was simple. You put a tracking code on the site, and anybody who visited the site, well, they would get tracked, and then you would see that person's ad on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on TikTok, or wherever they're at, right? Well, now that those are getting crunched, we're not fully optimized to track people anymore. What I mean by that is you're going to have to get very creative in your commercials, right? We're not going to be able to just get a pixel on a website and then retarget them and follow them forever and ever and ever. I know for one that I'm one of those people that uses incognito mode on my phone like all the time. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm searching on my phone. I just don't want to see ads on my phone. I'm just that kind of guy. I think you're that kind of person too, right, Leslie?
Sometimes I forget.
And then you see ads on your Facebook, right?
Before I'm even thinking about searching for something, I have ads.
Oh, they're tracking behaviors and interests. Well,
they're tracking my thoughts, Brian.
They are tracking your thoughts. Well, when it comes to advertising, you can track on social media behaviors and interests, and you can target people based on what they're interested in. That's probably where you're getting them before you think about it, which is a good marketer.
Yep.
But what I'm talking about is like if somebody goes to a website and then they jump off the website and then they go to social media and it's there and it just follows you forever and ever and ever, that's going to get harder. That's going to get harder because what cookies are tracking codes, right? And so because we're not going to be able to track as easily as it was before, we're still going to be able to track, but we got to ask permission now. It's you have to do it voluntarily. So social selling will simplify the customer journey. It's funny about this. What we're doing is going over this report of 2022 by consumers, and this is all that was generated by our partners at HubSpot. And social selling will simplify the customer journey. I think that even in this report, it was but even before this report, we all knew that social media would help us sell. It's just a proven fact. When people know and you attract them, they go from strangers to being prospects. It's an inbound marketing strategy that just works. And it happened to our business, right? Nobody knew Advent Trinity until we started doing some more social media ads this year. And let me talk about that too. So, what at the beginning of this year, we're like, where are all these leads? Where are all these leads? And so we had a bunch of click advertising. So we paid for clicks to the site. But the problem with that was that those people were already looking for web design, search engine optimization, social media marketing. What we started doing was we started planting seeds. Okay, we started using social media and running social media to plant seeds, and people that were strangers and probably never even thought about starting a business until the end of 2021. They were like, oh yeah, I remember Advent Trinity. I've been meaning to reach out to them. And that's what happened this year in November and December. We had a ton of business come in from social media. A lot of our clients this year came from social media. And so social selling will simplify the customer journey. Well, what is the customer journey? The customer journey is attract, engage, delight, right? We talked about this in our previous webinars is, are you attracting the strangers to become prospects? Are you engaging with prospects, become customers, right? And once they convert into customers, are they excited and getting delighted so that they become promoters? And promoters meaning that they're referring you business, they're becoming advocates, and that they're giving you reviews. So with social media, though, if you're always in front of them, it doesn't matter what stage they're in the cycle of your customer journey. If you're always in front of them, they'll always remember you, which will obviously increase your business. Post-pandemic content will shape up the consumer needs. So up to consumer needs. So this is a crucial, as we go into post-pandemic, we need to take into account what's actually going on in the world. And when you're posting on social media and, you're not taking into account what is actually going on, and, people are more engaged in what's happening in the world. They're taking precautions when it comes to like even right now, like it was cold and flu season, and people are taking an account and making sure that people are being safe, and things like content like wearing masks in photos, wearing gloves, being cautious about what they're doing. It's pretty high impact. And then with I saw something that was like pretty funny on TikTok the other day, and yes, because I know that TikTok is growing, I'm actually on TikTok and learning what users are doing. And people like hilarious things, and people like to laugh. Leslie, do you like to laugh?
I love to laugh, Brian. I've gotten obsessed with TikTok lately too. I was skeptical at first, but I mean, Andrea and I are coming up with ideas to do for Advent Trinity as well. So soon we will be on there.
And so after, when you were skeptical, and then you started to see all the funny stuff, right, and all the hilarious things that are on TikTok, and it's a lot of fun. It is fun content. But if you notice, some of the stuff is post-pandemic. There's things like, and they're like, they make jokes, but they're like, I'm vaccinated and highly caffeinated. I saw one of those. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't see that one. I'm gonna have to look it up though.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty provocative, but I'm not at the very end. But that's post-pandemic content. It will shape up the consumer needs, and what are people doing post-pandemic? Well, even just now, the software that's being developed, there's robots in restaurants, there's contactless systems out there, there's a lot of Zoom calls. We used to do a lot of live we used to do a lot of live workshops, and now I've steered away from that. And not that it's not important, but it's it's just the way the world. More people want to have the availability to watch this at their own time and terms, which is why we're creating the courses. So in case you guys are watching, in 2022, we're going to launch courses. And those courses are going to, you're going to be able to do exactly what we do here at Advent Trinity. And you're going to know why we do it and how to do it and when to do it. Omnichannel engagement will change the way consumers engage with social media. So just consumers are no longer loyal to one channel. This is a prime example of what just happened on Facebook. Like I can't, it's hard to be loyal when things don't work. Isn't that right, Leslie?
That's right. Shame on Facebook.
Oh gosh. I love you, Facebook, but dang it. So I'm kind of glad we're not on Facebook because we're kind of bashing them right now. So
it's okay. We'll still use them because they have other great assets, right?
So yeah, exactly. Consumers are no longer loyal to just one channel, and you know, like you said, you were hesitant to go to TikTok, but now you're on TikTok. My wife was never a Facebook person. She was more of an Instagram person. I was more of a Facebook person and a Google person. I got a little bit of Snapchat and then kind of fell off. But this is a prime example. We're all users and we're all using different platforms. And some of us use one platform more than the other. So the fact that, you know, if you're a small business owner and you're like, I'm going to depend all my energy on Facebook, then you're going to lose, right? You're going to lose big time. You have to diversify. You have to start to use different platforms to reach different users because users are on different platforms, period. We promote on Instagram, we promote on Facebook, we promote on Google. And it's just, it's important for us to be on different channels. But this also leads to, go ahead.
I was going to say, you literally have to be everywhere to capture everyone's attention. Otherwise, you're going to miss out.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, talk about what, and then Facebook was the dominant, right? Let's just be real. In 2020 or 2019, Facebook was dominant. Super dominant. But this also, you know, what happened with everything, the politics and the contradictory things that happened with Facebook and public. Now they're changing over to Meta. There's reason why all of these things happen, and people saying that there's fake news on these social media platforms. Well, guess what? Because of all of that, now we're on all different platforms. People just are on Facebook as they used to. They're on different platforms. I'm not saying that they're not on Facebook at all, but they're definitely not. Some of them aren't. You know, I know some people that just completely deleted their Facebook. But that's why it's so important to be on these different channels. So maturing influential marketing will finally come of age. So before, influential marketing was like a lot of teens, and models and stuff like that. That's what influential marketing was. Okay. But now it's kind of maturing. It's not just somebody that just has a lot of followers. So just like this overview says, you know, influential marketing has grown up with increased regulations and responsibilities. More brands are taking them more seriously. Following the pandemic, many have bigger and more engaged audiences than ever before. How will brands make the most of these opportunities? So let's talk about how we're going to make more of these opportunities. When it comes to influential marketing, there are, like this says, there's a lot more responsibilities, a lot more regulations. People can't just do things as influencers. Back then, they did whatever it took to get to the top. But there are more regulations out there, and you're going to see a lot of people become personal brands, right? And I think we started this in where, you know, I was the personal brand of Advent Trinity Marketing Agency. And to the extent, you know, I still am, but there's comes a point when you're going to have to get somebody else, right, Leslie, to help you, kind of like Leslie Radford.
I mean, it's kind of like social proof, right? If other people are using your product and promoting it, well, then that makes other people want to try your product and promote it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of, it's like you said, credibility, right? Um, who's using it? How are they using it? And sometimes, and we will start to get a little bit more detailed into that as well as an agency here in the near future. But as a business, you have to think um, about influential marketing for your business and figuring out, what it's going to take to get somebody to advocate your business. And what's funny about this whole thing too? This entire document goes back to, let's go back to this, right? This flywheel. You're delighting in promoters. If you have promoters and advocates that are promoting your business, you're going to attract more strangers, and more strangers become more prospects, and more prospects become customers, and more customers become promoters, and the cycle continues. So with you having an influential marketer on staff or on your team or externally, it's going to help you once again get that flywheel moving in that customer journey. Brands will lead in social media decentralization. We talked about this. We just talked about this and being more on multiple platforms, but communities are key. Communities have always been key, right, Leslie?
That's right.
So many of you probably don't know this, but Leslie and I, we met in our community. We were networking before you joined the Advent Trinity team.
That's right. We were.
And that's it's the same thing. What happens in any business and any marketing is people, when they feel a part of something, that's when they start to wear things. That's what they want. They start to purchase the brand, or say that they got XYZ done at ABC company, right?
You get those referrals.
Exactly. And if you're on social media, and what I teach people too all the time is that social media, even though we're running ads and we're teaching people to generate leads, social media is designed to accelerate word of mouth. That's why it's called social media, right? So if you accelerate the word of mouth, obviously those, if you're a business and you primarily have word of mouth, guess where you should be? Social media, right? Because you're like, well, my primary business comes from word of mouth. Then you need to be on social media, so that way you accelerate the word of mouth business, and that way you have more referrals and you have more people talking about your business. And then you're going to have to build an in-house social network, an in-house community, which is, a lot of people are building their own websites. They're building their own accounts on forums on their websites because they don't want any restrictions or regulations of what they want to say or what they want to share. I've in the past 2 days or 3 days, I've had quite a few social media ideas. So, and what I mean by that is I've had prospects come to me and they want to build their own platform so that they can get their users on their platform. And so that's what's going to happen too. And I know that we got Meta coming out and we got all these great, amazing things, but I do see what they mean by brands will lead the social media decentralization. There's going to be in-house social networks that are being built. And like groups and stuff like that that's going to happen just on their own website. For instance, Advent Trinity, we're building a courses website that's going to launch in 2022. In that courses, we're going to build a community. We're probably going to have some sort of social platform within our website that allows us to engage with those that are taking our courses. Well, guess what that's going to turn into? Business for Advent Trinity, where they're not getting information just on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram now. It's through our website, and they're being a part of this community. So we're going to building a community of entrepreneurs and business owners that we want to educate on how to do marketing for their own business. And then hopefully eventually we have some clients that are like, I don't want to do this. This is a lot of work, because it is a lot of work. There's a reason why we have a full stack team. It's not because and Brian Acosta cannot do this alone. And Leslie can attest to that. So,
none of us can do this alone.
oh no. So Leslie, off the topic, off this webinar, this is great. This is great. I like this webinar better because it's more of like a conversation webinar.
Yes, I like it too.
So Leslie, tell me how much you have kind of learned about marketing itself being here at Abbott Attorney Marketing Agency.
Because we have so many clients, it's just trying to speak specifically to their audiences. So learning the different businesses and how to speak to who they're trying to target has been quite a challenge. So I've learned a lot from doing that. And also what platforms work for them better than others. Somebody may use Instagram, but for another company, Instagram doesn't really work. LinkedIn would be better. So just learning, those different target audiences.
And you've had experience dealing with the website a little bit and social media platforms a little bit. Mm-hmm. Would you say this is definitely not a one-person job?
No, it is not.
Yeah. You can start off as one person, but then when you start to get into like all these platforms, it becomes a full-time job.
It is. It really is. That's why we're here.
And that's why we're here. And, now, and then, with if it's a full-time job now, imagine now that they're going to be decentralizing it and people are going to create their own platforms and then people want to be on those platforms. It's just going to be even more of a job.
Mind blowing is what it's going to be.
So we talk, Mark Zuckerberg talked about the metaverses and will be next consumer connection, right? And he wants to build these kind of like, have you ever seen Ready Player One, Leslie? Well,
it seems like it did, but I can't remember.
Well, if you haven't, and if you're watching this and you haven't seen Ready Player One, you need to watch Ready Player One. The reason why you want to watch Ready Player One is because literally that's what the metaverse is all about. They've already, it's a virtual world is what they're building. And in this virtual world, they're going to have interactive communities of users able to engage in a wide variety of social activities online. So our in-person networking may soon turn into online networking, literally. So brand inclusivity will be brand critical. So are you being inclusive? Are you not being exclusive to any kind of groups out there in the world? You want to be inclusive to everybody. That's going to be a big deal in 2022. And then communities will develop and take control. And we talked about this. We met in networking, and that's how and that's honestly that's the old way of business, and it's never going to change. I don't care what kind of social platform out there. This is old news, honestly. If you're networking and you're developing relationships and you're creating a community around your business, that's what's going to help your business grow. So this isn't rocket science. It's not something that's like new. It's just social media is going to, once again, accelerate that community building and brand building for your business if you do it correctly. All right. So key takeaways. We have to be more authentic content. We have to do more authentic content, especially if you're going to be on TikTok, if you're going to be doing these live videos and YouTube and things like this happen. So we were trying to do this webinar. I tried to do Zoom integrated with Facebook. That didn't work. Then I tried to go straight into Facebook live and do a streaming through Facebook itself through their platform. That didn't work. And then now we're on YouTube. We're doing Zoom integration with YouTube, which we should have done from the beginning. And now we know, right, Leslie? now we know. That's okay. Our YouTube channel needed some help anyway. So there you go. It's a win-win situation. It's authentic content, though. It's authentic. It's just being real. And I wasn't going to come on here onto this webinar and just be like, well, everything's perfect and dandy. It wasn't, but it was great content for this webinar. We've got to build. I know, right? It was like, and this is why you got to be on multiple platforms. Build a community around your business. That's true, and it's always going to be true. Don't rely on one marketing platform. Don't rely on one marketing platform, right? And so those are the key takeaways of this webinar. Now let's go into implementation. Let's talk about how we're going to implement here in 2022. And if you haven't already, visit adventtrinity.com. Reach out to us if you're wanting these resources, and I'll also share into the event as well in the discussion for those that are going to be joining on later today. So, what is a 10 by 10 strategy? Well, Leslie, I'm glad you asked.
Well, hey, I'm glad I asked too.
So let me go to my beautiful Excel sheet here for the 10 by 10 strategy. And let me open this up for you. So a 10 by 10 strategy. So in marketing, you have to have multiple ways of marketing. You have to be everywhere. You can't just say, you can't just do one thing and stick to it. And we had a client that did this. They put their baskets in one, they put their ducks in one basket. And this year it's not the same. It's not the same. We had a client that was highly relied on Google, and because Google's algorithm changes and the cookies and all the stuff that changed, they weren't getting the same traction as they were. And I don't think it was that too. It's that because everybody's moving to digital platform, things cost more. Inflation, ads cost more. When inflation happens, it doesn't just affect products, it affects everything. Okay, if you go to the restaurant right now, steak that was $8 is now $16. Have you witnessed that, Leslie?
Yes, I'm like highly considering becoming a vegetarian. Not really, but don't let my rancher friends hear me say that.
Well, guess what, those who are viewing, because inflation, advertising costs are double. So now you have to pay double to what you were getting before. And that's just it. Unfortunately, there's no control over that. So what is a 10 by 10 strategy is going to help us is if you have a 10 by 10 strategy, you're going to go in here and you go, okay, oh man, so I need to run ads, but where am I going to do it? Well, we talked about social media, right? So let's type in social media here. And we're like, okay, one of my things for 2022 is I'm going to do social media. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do website. Okay, I'm going to do a website. I'm going to build a website. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do networking. Another thing that I got to do is email marketing. And you're going to do this all the way down until you have kind of like a broad 10. Okay, so once you have a broad 10, you're like, okay, all of these are broad strategies. They're not narrow. Social media is super broad. Well, I'm going to do Facebook, and I'm going to do Facebook organic, and I'm going to post, let me type here. I'm going to post 7 days a week. All right, so that's one way, right? That's one way of social media. Then I'm going to do Instagram organic. And then I'm going to do also post 7 days a week on that one as well. Okay, so now I know, okay, I got to do Facebook, I got to do Instagram, but what about paid Facebook? Well, I want to do paid Facebook, and I'm going to spend $500 per month on ads. All right. So I'm going to do $500 per month on ads. And then, I'm going to do YouTube ads, right? And I'm going to spend $250 per month. I don't know. Just an idea. And you're going to go all the way down until you have 10 strategies for social media, 10 strategies for a website. So what kind of strategies are you going to get for a website? Well, I'm going to do a WordPress website. I need to do blogs and provide courses for my business. I'm going to provide things that they can then engage with, right? And in networking, I'm going to do the chamber. Many of you have been in chamber. and so forth and so forth. Does that make sense, Leslie?
Totally.
So if you were now this right here is extremely hard to fill out. Most 9 times out of 10, most people only get to 50 strategies. Okay, that's about it. So if we go to Advent Trinity, I didn't even fill it out. But here's Advent Trinities, just an example of Advent Trinities is, we did SEO and SEM, which stands for search engine optimization and social media marketing. Okay. And we had power listings, blogs. So all of this is affecting search engine optimization. PPC, Google ads, CTA ads, Google, retargeting ads, Google, more reviews on Yelp, PPC Bing, PPC Yahoo, paid Yelp. Well, I'm going to take this one off. I don't want to do paid Yelp. Yelp just really didn't do anything for us. Get more reviews on Google. Everybody needs more reviews on Google. What I actually would do here is articles, right? Articles, and all of this will affect SEO. And then you have social media. We're going to create a group. We're going to create a community. We're going to do paid advertising on Facebook. We're going to set up Facebook offers, educational videos, kind of like we were trying to do for this webinar, but it just turned out that we're just going to do it on YouTube. That's fine. And then we go into direct mail. Like, you see how, even though we're a digital marketing company, we still have tactics and strategies. Are we going to do telemarketing? We got to make outbound calls. We got to do email marketing campaigns. We got to do network. And then on your website, what exactly are you going to be doing on your website? SEO client portal. We want to create a portal for those that are which we actually are. Also, another thing that's coming in 2022 is a portal where people can look at what's happening with their business. You're going to get analytical reports of what's that's going to be connected directly to Google. So you don't have to deal with Google to see what's happening in your business on your website, because it can get confusing. It can really get confusing. So we're going to give you just what you need to know: calls, clicks, form fill outs, that kind of stuff. Free listing scan. These are things that we can offer for free to get leads. We're going to blog once again to get search engine optimization. We got to create a portfolio. We're going to edit our portfolio because, Leslie, we built order delivery app. We built this white label system that we're about to launch. We're building a point of sale. We're building a digital business card business for a client.
We have done so many things in the last year, Brian.
I know. And we got to update it and show people, man, we can build some serious technology.
Right.
And then, what kind of call to actions? Are we going to have our webinars on our website? Are we going to have our seminars on our website? Do we have any pop-ups? Do we have any case studies? Once again, we have to update our portfolio. So we've got a lot of things that are that we still got to do, right? But this is a prime example of why you got to do a 10 by 10 strategy, is because what all do we need to do to get our name out there and get people to come to our website and do business with us? That's what marketing is all about. Now, we talked about social media. So in here, we've got to add TikTok, right? And we got to add TikTok ads. Boom. There we go. Just got my 10, finally. And so that's kind of how you fill out the 10 by 10 strategy. And we're going to share this with you guys, so don't worry. Here shortly, we're going to put this on the Facebook page. So if you're following us on Facebook, go to our Facebook, adventtrinity.com. For those who signed up for the courses, we'll share the YouTube link for you guys to watch afterwards. And we'll also have these links so that you're able to download these Excel sheets. And just so you know, they will be a Google link, and all you got to do is click on file and make a copy in order for yourself to make a copy for your business. And I'll go ahead and keep Advent Trinity so you can see exactly how to lay this out. And I haven't filled this out in a long time, I'll be honest with you. Green means we've been working on it, or it's in play. Yellow means that we're working on it, and white just means that we haven't started. And a lot of this has changed. So now, running ads on Facebook and Instagram, and how do we go about that? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to create a budget. If you don't have a budget, you need to create a budget. You just got to create a budget. We're going to create this paid advertising budget. This is how we manage our clients' budgets. And this is our budget, right? And you'll see sometimes we just don't even reach our budget, which is probably why, some of us aren't getting the results that we want, because you think you're spending, but you're not. There's some months that we were like, oh, we have a $1,500 budget and we only spent $925 or $972. So how do you get that back to where it needs to be? So that way we're getting the clicks and calls that are needed to grow the business. So what does this all mean? I'm going to go down this list so that way when you're watching this webinar and using this Excel sheet. And by the way, this is a lot of information for a webinar, which is exactly the primary reason why we're doing the courses. This is going to be structured in our courses for 2022. It is going to be a paid courses. It's not a lot of money. I mean, guys, we're going to be probably selling this thing for like $20 or $40. And you get access to all the courses that we're about to film on how to use this Excel sheet and so forth. So CPC stands for cost per click, which is Google ads. CPM stands for cost per million, which is your YouTube ads. It's streaming ads. And then display retargeting. How do you retarget them? Once again, those cookies. You've got to be in front. It's not enough to be on front of them the first time. You got to continuously follow them around, which is why it's important to do retargeting ads. And then you got Facebook ads, affiliate marketing, which is like different networks like Bing and Yahoo and stuff like that. And then you got social media ads, which you got Facebook, Instagram, you got Twitter, LinkedIn ads, Pinterest promoted pins, those kind of things. And then lead generation stuff. So before you do anything, what you're going to do is you're going to fill this out and you're going to figure out what your budget is on advertising. Advertising is completely different from content, paying somebody to do content, an organic. Okay. But one thing is for sure, in all my years of experience, if you don't do advertising, you're going to lose, period. So you've got to do advertising. All right. So once you have this all set up, guys, I'm going to teach you the easiest way. I'm going to teach you guys the easiest way to run a boost on Facebook. It's so easy to do advertising for your business on Facebook. So if you're not going to get anything from this webinar, I want you to learn one thing today, and that's boost. And this button right here. So if you go to your page, if you build a Facebook page, this beautiful Facebook page developed by Andrea, who's my wife. She's an awesome social media manager. And when you see this, you're going to go, okay, I'm going to click on, you know what? Hey, look at this. Oh, boost unavailable because it's an external link. Darn it. Leslie, I was going to cheat the system. Unfortunately, we can't. Unfortunately, you see, this is Facebook don't like external links. Boost unavailable. See eligibility post. Darn. But you know what? I got a way around this. But but that's not the point of the webinar. The point of the webinar is there's a button right here in the bottom left. If you see it, do you see that, Leslie?
Yes.
Okay. Let me close this out because I know people are going to be into the gossip. It's just the people that sign up for the. So they click promote. Okay. I'm going to click promote. And there's a lot of stuff on here, automated ads, and I'm just going to boost a post. Let's see here. I want to boost. Well, Leslie, what post did I boost?
Let's do the second one there.
The second one right here?
Yeah, that one.
Boom. Okay. So when I click on boost post, it's going to say, all right, Brian, what do you want to do? Well, I want people to send messages. Do I want people to learn more? I don't want people to send messages. I want people to learn more. I want them to go to my website. See that? Website. Destination website. And they're going to go to my website here. And now I'm going to choose a target demographic. So this is where you get your audience. And I'm going to boost. You can go in here and create a smart audience, or you can also do website visitors, lookalike audience recommended. So people that have already visited our site and they'll see this again. And then there's one, there's another one, which is what I like to do is boost so that my people that like this page and their friends see the page. Okay. Ooh, my tag manager's not working. Got to get that fixed. So then this is how simple it is. Duration, how long, and then how much are you going to boost it for? So I'm going to boost it for the next 4 days. Let me see here. Well, something's wrong here, Leslie.
What's wrong, Brian?
Oh, it's my pixel. It's not working. That's why. That's okay. We're not going to use the pixel. See, this is what I mean. We know we just talked about this right in the webinar, that pixels and tracking codes are having issues, right? Look at this. Oh, event limit. Oh, my event limit has been reached. I have too much traffic going to my website. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, darn. What a terrible thing to happen.
I know. Whatever. Okay, so now I'm just going to put, boost post now.
Now on that boost post, you get to choose how many days you want to do it for and how many people you want to reach for how much per day. So depending on how much you spend is how many extra people will see it, right?
Yes. And then when they do the ad center, when they go to their ad center on their page, they'll be able to see how much they're spent and how much they're reaching. So, this is in review, and how many clicks, how many event responses, post engagement in the last 60 days and the last 30 days. So just off of ads, not by page. So this is all just ads. Because if we were to look at the insights, by the way, how do you view insights is you click on insights and then you tell us, what you want to see for the last 28 days. Those are the kind of numbers that you want to reach 20,000 people a month. You want to get, 54 likes per month. And you notice that you need to do, what does it say? Promotions, which is advertising. You got to do advertising. If you're a business, Facebook is going to know you're a business and they want your money. Unfortunately.
Everybody wants your money, right?
And it doesn't have to be expensive. It's not like we're spending thousands of dollars on Facebook.
No, I mean, you just spent $20. That was it.
Well, I just spent $5 to be exact on that.
Oh,
ad.
I thought it was per day. So $5 per day was for 40.
No, my total budget was $8, $5.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's how you run ads. That's how you run ads on Facebook. So that's just a little, it's just a little bit about, and some people are like, well, Brian, I already knew how to do this, but do you have a budget? And that's the biggest thing is a lot of people do not set budgets. If you run a business like a business, everything is budget oriented. You have to have a budget for marketing and advertising. You have to. And I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be real with it. Leslie, is that okay?
Be real.
Marketing isn't cheap. Do not expect to get away with $100 or $200. I'll be honest with you. When you're starting a business, if you're watching this and you are starting a business, you have to have a minimum $1,500. $1,500 a month in budget just for advertising and marketing. So, and that's not all going to advertising. You can split it into content creation and advertising. But in marketing in general, $1,500, that is a starting point. That is, I'm just getting my feet wet. But the kind of like some people expect tremendous results, and you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000, $5,000 a month. You know, be realistic with your budget. What can you afford? And if you can't afford those numbers, then you better start selling. Old school telemarketing, baby. Isn't that right?
And you can't start selling unless you're spending. That old saying about you got to spend money to make money. That's how it works with the advertising budget.
Exactly. So I'm gonna stop the share here. You know, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us for our beautiful experimental.
That's one way of putting it.
Experimental. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining us if you haven't, and I'm going to make sure that YouTube saves this video. I think this was recorded. I'm going to post this webinar back up on Facebook for those to see. Yeah, it's being recorded, so we're gonna put this back on Facebook page so that everybody can see.